Hi, welcome back. We are still on our math series on real number system. Basically, at the moment, dealing with standard form. We have dealt with two parts of this subtopic, and then the caution was that make sure you watch the videos, the previous videos on decimal places, significant figures, and then you can move to standard form. Else, you wouldn't understand whatever we did. Now, back to standard form. The recent episode, we dealt with the concepts. We did two examples. Now, let's do more examples for better understanding. So, we got to this particular C, where already we have the decimal point in it. And we told you for a whole number, a number that is initially without the decimal points, there's an imaginary decimal point at the last of the at the back of the last digits. Right, and then after introducing the decimal points between the first and second significant figure, we move it back to where we had the decimal points. So the movement will depend if you have a negative or positive index of 10. Right, so let's take C again. Now we have C 4687.02. So here there is a visible decimal point here already. So if it is there, the first step we should bring the decimal point between the first and second significant figure. So we have it between 4 and 6. Now after introducing this, we were told that if the decimal point is already visible, it means that we are moving it back to where we had the decimal point. So this has the decimal point already in it. So we are moving it to where it was. But the imaginary one, which was the whole number, right, we move it to the back because that is where imaginary it is, right? So now that we have it between 4 and 6, now let's move it back to between 7, between 7 and 0, where it was initially. So let's see. So from here, move 1, 2, 3. So we have the 3. Now, why is 3 positive? It's positive because we are moving it to the right side of the number that we are dealing with. So that is it. I think that is understood. Let's take the second example when it comes to the decimal numbers already. So we have 356.07. Now, this decimal point is already visible. Now, going back to the first rule, introducing the decimal point between the first and second significant figure, which is 3 and 5. So it's here. So we have it 3 and 5, 3.5. Now, move it back to where it was initially. We have 1 and 2. So 2. And this is still to the right. So positive 2. Now here, the decimal point is imaginary. It's not visible. So back to the first rule is 4.1. We have 4.1. Now, moving it back to where in each imaginary the decimal point is, well, how do we count it? So here, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4. Still to the right of the what? The number, or the number that we are dealing with, the whole number. So it's 4. So you see how simple it is. In SHS, I don't know, when I was in SHS, this thing was very difficult for me. I don't know if I was down, right? Probably there was no time on the part of maybe, I don't know, yes, lack of understanding or time on the teacher's side to explain this. So that's why we are doing this. You will hardly see this in class, right? They will rush through them. But here, we are taking our time. This is CMG-MathSpace. We are stepping boldly into the math space. Now, let's come to the last one, which is the F. Here, decimal point is already there, so it's visible. Now go back to the first rule, introducing the decimal point between the first and second significant figures. We have 3.2. Now let's move to original decimal point. So 1, 2, 3. Right? So 3. We have it. So you see how simple it is. Now let's move on to another point where we are saying that a number smaller than 1 has a negative index of 10 in standard form. So what it means that whenever we see something, this one is telling you if you should do it correctly, you get the answer that whatever English that you wrote here. Now I'm going to explain to you in simple terms. Don't use this thing. You don't need it. This is not English or any other course. This is math. You can't choose things. It's the concept that is important. So here it means that if this is true, then the number that we are dealing with is a fractional number. That is what it means, a fractional number, or a decimal. Yeah, let me say a fractional. This is still a fractional number, or if you want to be specific, it's what? Decimal fraction. So there's a decimal point in it already. So it means that they are saying that the number smaller than 1 has a negative index of 10. So you see that at the end of this calculation, you see that the index of 10 will be negative, 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 negative. So let's prove this. The first one is saying that 0.0018. What do? We should take it to what? We should write in the standard form. So let's see. This is the number, right? So the first rule is to always put the decimal point between the first and second significant figure. Now here is the case that I was saying that you have to understand significant figures. If you don't understand this may look like a rocket science or math, and you wouldn't understand, right? Here, if you are calculating looking for significant figures, the significant figure is 1 and 8. We have only 2 significant figures here, and not around this 0, 0, 0, no, right? 0 will be countable or be considered when they are between real numbers, as in correct or tangible numbers. Let me put it that way for the lack of what expression. So we are talking about real number as a number, in quote, real numbers. So 1 is a real number, 8 is a real number, 0 no, not. So in quote, but when it goes to mathematics, real number may involve 0. So take note. So here we are looking at, you have to understand the significant figures, right? And significant figure, we have 1 and 8. The rest are not. So let's bring the decimal point, or introduce the decimal point between the first and second significant figure, which is 1 and 8. So we have 1 and 8. Now, after introduction, what it means is that take the decimal point, move it back to where you took it initially or originally. That is the concept. So if you have 1.8 here, let's move it back. So 1, 2, 3. So how many steps? 3 steps. And since we are going to the left of the number, that will be -3. So 10 raised to the power -3. You understand the concept? Very, very easy. And for starters, let me put it that way. For starters, this is very easy. So you get that point. So now let's move to this particular one. Now the decimal point is visible. We are introducing it between what? The first and second significant figure. Now you may say that, where is the second significant figure? The second significant figure will come when there's 0 here. So it will be 1 and 0. 1 and 0. So 0.001 and 0. It's the same thing. So this can be expressed in this answer that I said, that 0.001 and 0. This can be expressed that way for you to get where to introduce the decimal point. So now, so you can really write it 1, no problem. Now let's move it back. From here, we are moving how many times? 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. That is it. I hope things are becoming very, very clearer. Right, so we have this. So that will be 2, or better 0.2, or you can still leave it that way. So 2, and then how many steps did you move? 1. Right, so where is it? So here is here, point, so move 1, that's -1. So you see, it's the same thing that is going to be applicable throughout this. So look at this. We have this one also here. Now to come between 4 and 3. So 4 and 3, that's 4 and 3. Now let's move it back. 1, 2, 3, -3. Same thing here, bringing it between the 5 and 0. 5 and 0, 0, 3. Move it back. 1, 1, 2, -2. Moving to the left of the number. The same thing is here, introducing between 3 and 6. Now take it back to the originals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get it? This is very simple. So in the next one, we will find the solution and then do another calculation on that. So that is it. So please like, share, and then let's hit operation 1K for me to start going live. I appreciate you. Learn and you understand it eventually. Ciao.